Hey, I understand you have written some Sijo.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, you won the contest in my class a few years ago. Let's see yours. Hello everyone, this is Mark Peterson again with the Frog Outside the Well Research Center, and my guest today again is our Sijo specialist,
Lucia,
who I say Lucia, but this is Lucia. And appreciate your help last week. And this week let's talk about taking these Korean Sijo and putting them into English. And then let's talk about writing original Sijo in English. So the critical thing, I think, in translation is to respect the structure of the Sijo. And the reason why I say it's critical is if you look on the internet for Sijo here and there at various websites, there's some that will translate the masterpieces and just sloppily put them in there. I've got a couple of examples here. I really don't want to show them because I don't want to ridicule anybody, but on the internet, if you look, there's one Sijo that's 5 lines.
Yeah.
You know, a Sijo can be 6 if you cut the lines in half. It can be 3, it should be 3, but 5, where does that come from? And there was another one where it was going along pretty good, but then he repeated the last line just for emphasis, and in a poem you can do that. But in Sijo, it's 3 lines and you're done.
Right.
Then it's a Sijo. And then my favorite Sijo about though I die and die again, though I die 100 deaths, we saw a translation of this where he says, though I die again 100 times, it misses the 4 segments in the line. And that's important. So there are bad translations out there. You can find them on the internet that don't respect the structure. And so I think, first of all, a Sijo in translation should be a Sijo. And here's my favorite one again. And you can see the Korean is 3 lines with the 3 and 4 beats per line, and the English is also 3 and 4 beats or syllables per segment. 4 segments, 4 segments, 4 segments. So the last line should always be 3 beats to start, and then 5 to 8 beats as it lengthens out and goes. So this is a good example. Here's another one of my favorite Sijo, the one of Hwang Jin-hee, the famous Kisang writer. And this is such a temptation poem. It's Jade Green Stream. Jade Green Stream is the pen name of a scholar official who was paying no attention to her and wouldn't come to her house for entertaining. Flowing through the Green Hills. The Green Hills is Korea, of course. Don't be so proud of your easy going. Once you reach the vast sea, to return again will be most difficult. While bright moon fills the empty hills, why not rest a bit before you go on? And Bright Moon, of course, is the pen name of Hwang Jin-hee. So the thing is, on the surface, is tremendously seductive. But you get into it and it's even more seductive because you realize the first half of each line is in Chinese characters, in effect official language, male language, where she's saying to him, I'm speaking the language you know and understand as a scholar official. And then the second half of each line is the softer Hangul. Do you remember we talked about Hangul being called Ongul, or female script? And this is a good example of that. Hangul is the woman talking, Chinese is the man talking. So it's male, female, male, female, male, female. Just the structure of this is so seductive that she's saying, hey, hotshot, you think you're so smart with all your Chinese? I can do Chinese as well as you can. You shouldn't be looking down your nose at me. So it's just an incredibly powerful Sijo, and here's the translation of that one that I just read. And you see bad translations of that out and around as well. Well, let's talk about original Sijo. Here's one that I picked up off the internet. I don't know Victor Gendrano, but he writes, The Bag Lady. We called her the Bag Lady, a fixture in the town square. She sat there with a toothless smile, exchanging banters with the crowd. The bench is empty now. We learned a social worker picked her up. I think that's so clever because you get to the, you can see this woman, you know, in the homeless situation. And the bench is empty now. Oh, she died or something happened. No, the social worker picked her up. So it has a happy ending to it. I really like that. I think that's a clever Sijo. Here's one by one of our Korean American students. You know Sunny?
Yeah.
She wrote this one. It's clever because it captures a Korean expression 이열치열. How would you translate 이열치열?
So when it's hot, you want to add more hot to it?
Yeah, you treat heat with heat. So when it's hot, you have hot things to drink. So she's commenting on that. It's really clever. On hot days, a sweaty man drinks hot and steamy tea. From the top of his head to his feet, a steady running stream. Funny, yes? Treat heat with heat. The way of the Koreans. So that's kind of clever. Here's a really pretty love song. Winter snow falls from the heaven, but to melt in the spring sun. Autumn leaves drift down from the trees, revealing barren branches. But your love springs forth unceasingly from emerald pools in your eyes. This is by Mark Sawyer. He's a bright student I had here several years ago. He's an MD now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And one thing I like about this is, look, to make sure that he meet the meter toward the end, instead of saying emerald, he said emerald. He made a contraction out of it. And that's a poetic device that's really quite clever. Hey, I understand you have written some Sijo.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, you won the contest in my class a few years ago. Let's see yours.
Yeah.
Shall I read it, or do you want to? You go ahead.
Okay. Frozen heart, you melted it. Warm sunshine, oh, it was you. Life is not fair, world puts us down, but giving hope, oh, it was you. Dear music, as you stayed beside me, I could stand strong, oh, thank you.
That is very clever. The third line is supposed to have a twist of some kind. And here, the first line is supposed to introduce an idea, the second line develops the idea. So the first line, you're talking to a lover, melted your heart. You think it's a person. And then third line, it's music. So that's really a good example. I think that was the key factor for you to win the class contest back then. I don't know if I should show you one of mine.
Yes.
I don't want to brag or anything. But on the other hand, I want to show that I've tried as well.
Yeah.
And anybody can try. I'm not really a literature professor. I do language, but more classic language, really, and history. But I've gotten into the Sijo, and I just really enjoy it. Here's one written for Korean American students that go to Hangul Hakyo. And Hangul Hakyo, is on Saturday, and a lot of the kids don't want to go.
Yeah.
They'd rather go play. The reason I wrote this Sijo was I met a lawyer in LA who took me out to a Korean restaurant, and his Korean stunk. It was nowhere. He couldn't even order off the menu. And he was trying to show off that he could speak Korean, and he couldn't speak Korean very well. And so I said, gee, how much Korean can you speak? And he said, oh, not very much, really. And he said, but my brother speaks really well. I said, how can two people in the same family have one with good language and one not good language? He went to Hangul Hakyo. I refused to go. I went to play soccer. So that inspired me to write this one. It's difficult to teach students in Hangul Hakyo these days. Most students would rather run and play with their friends. Years later, they'll all say they had wished they had been better students. So,
love it.
That captures the idea of the poor Hangul Hakyo things. Maybe we can finish off with this idea, because I'd like to see Sijo taught more in America. And when we meet next week, I'm going to talk about the effort of a lot of people to try to get Sijo into the American curriculum. And so here's a Sijo about learning Sijo in America.
Yeah.
All students in the U.S. learn haiku in their schools. 3 short lines, regular rhythm, 5, 7, 5 beats to the line. Now Sijo needs to be planted in the curriculum. It's the next step for us to take.
Oh, I love it. Wow.
So I don't know how good of a Sijo is, but the idea is that Sijo needs to step up and with haiku become part of American culture.
Yeah, I hope they catch on.
Yeah, that's the idea. We'll talk about some of the steps various people are making to achieve the goal to get Sijo into the American curriculum when we meet next time.
Awesome.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Good to have you with us. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.